Hello friends, I hope you're well. Today is going to be a little bit of a different video. I'm going to sit down and chat to you about my journey with menorrhagia, with heavy periods, with contraception, with my hormones and with everything in between, because yesterday was a big day. Yesterday I got my Mirena Coil fitted after a long journey to get there, and I will continue to update you on my journey as we go along, but I thought I wanted to give you a big old mammoth chat on what's happened from my teenage years through to now, because like my journey with my hormones and my periods has been a rocky one. So buckle up, grab a cup of tea, and let's jump in. So you might know if you watch my recent vlogs that I have a condition called menorrhagia, which I've mentioned in passing, but I've never deep dived into what it is, my experience with it, and what I've tried to do to treat it in the past and what I'm doing now. So menorrhagia is heavy periods, but excessively heavy periods, to the point where it can be debilitating and impact your daily life. And for me, it's definitely got to that point, and it's got to the point where I have to treat it. I've tried to live with it, I've tried to impact my hormones through lifestyle factors, and still they just continue to be a shit show. My periods are a shit show. They are so heavy, long, uncomfortable and challenging to cope with, and I need to take back my power, take control and seek treatment. So let me talk to you about when this all started. So I started getting very heavy periods in my early 20s. I can't exactly pinpoint when it began, but I would say when I was, I don't know, 22, 23. I'm 29 now, by the way, turning 30 in 3 months time. So yes, I started getting heavy periods in my early 20s, and they have got progressively heavier over the years. I actually tried to get my menorrhagia treated back in 2019. If you followed me for a while, you'll know that in 2019 I had emergency bowel surgery, and I was in and out of hospital and doctors' surgeries a lot in the recovery from my bowel surgery, and I kind of had to stay at home for a while to recover. So I figured, while I'm here, I'm spending so much time in the NHS, I might as well spend some more time there and try and get my menorrhagia sorted out, because it was really impacting my life and I really struggled with my periods at that time. So I went to my local GP and I said, please can we do some tests, please can we try and work out why my periods are so heavy, and then we can look at treatment. So I did all sorts of testing. I did internal examinations, I did ultrasounds, I did blood tests, I did all sorts of like thyroid tests, etc, etc. I did all those tests and everything came back clear. I had nothing supposedly overtly wrong with me, yet my periods were so heavy. And they said to me, your two treatment options that we suggest for you are the pill or the Mirena Coil. And at that time I had tried the pill and the Mirena Coil earlier in my life and they didn't work out for me. So I said, I can't do those treatments right now, so I'm just going to try and live with these heavy periods, and I hope that if I continue to live this healthy lifestyle, my periods will hopefully become less debilitating. In fact, they just became more debilitating. But I just went away and I said, you know what, I'm just going to try and live with this. And I tried to live with it, and that didn't quite work out. So let me explain why I didn't want to go on the pill and do the Mirena Coil again, because I have tried those earlier in my life. So I had the pill from roughly the age of 16 or 17 through to 2021. So I was on it for maybe 4 years. In that time, it didn't give me any of the symptoms that lots of my friends said it gave them, like hormonal acne or gaining weight or this or that. But I actually had a complication called cervical ectropion. I'm not going to go into depth on what cervical ectropion is because I don't fully understand the complete extent of it, but basically my cervix was damaged and it was causing bleeding. And my doctor said to me, this is caused by your pill. I was on a pill called microgynon. You need to come off your pill. We need to give your cervix opportunity to heal from what has happened to it. And you know what? My cervix has never healed. So even when I get internal examinations now, like smear tests, or when I was getting my coil fitted, they will look inside and they'll say, oh, you have cervical ectropion. I'm like, Yep, shout out to microgynon. It's not the end of the world, it doesn't bleed like it used to. My cervical ectropion, when I had it when I was on the pill, was causing a lot of bleeding in between periods and a lot of pain. Now it seems to be a lot less aggravated, but it's still there internally. I will leave some links down below if you want to look at what cervical ectropion is. I also just want to say right now that I know that the pill and the many different variations of the pill work so well for so many women. And I don't want to shame anybody for being on the pill. I'm really happy for my friends who are on the pill and who it's working for them. But for me personally, being on the pill did not work out. My body did not respond well to it, and I was advised by my doctors to come off the pill. So since then, I've stayed well clear of it, personally. Then I met Ant 7 years ago. And when I met him, I said to him, you know what, babe? I'll go on the Mirena Coil because I feel like that'll just make our lives a lot easier when it comes to contraception. So I went to my local sexual health clinic in London when I was living there, and I got the Mirena Coil fitted, and the insertion was fine, everything was fine, but nobody ever sat me down and said to me that you should expect when you have the Mirena Coil fitted to spot or bleed lightly irregularly for at least 3 months, if not 6 months in some people. It can take some time for the Mirena Coil to settle into your system. So I thought there was something wrong with me because I was on and off spotting and bleeding for 3 months. And I just thought, my body doesn't agree with this coil. Nobody had told me that to expect this. So I was just like, this isn't right for me, take it out. So I went back to the clinic and they took it out. I'm really surprised in retrospect that they didn't say to me, this is normal, leave it in for a bit longer. They just said to me, yeah, sure, we'll take it out. They took out my coil and I came off the Mirena, and then Ant and I just used condoms, and I haven't had any form of contraception and haven't had any treatment for my menorrhagia since then. Just to put it out there, when I had the coil and the Mirena back then, that was not to treat my menorrhagia, that was just as a contraception. But when it came to treat my menorrhagia in 2019 and they suggested those things, I was like, I can't, because it didn't work out for me in the past. So then, as I said, in 2019 when I went for my treatment and they said, these are your 2 main options, I said, I don't want to do that. Okay, fine, I'll just learn to live with it. I have not learned to live with it. It's got worse. My period has gone wild. I had a really, really bad one in Mexico in 2021. I was in a hotel and I had this thing called flooding. I'm not going to explain the ins and outs of what flooding is, but if you're somebody who experiences periods, I'm sure you can imagine what flooding means. And I flooded, and I flooded hard, and I felt like I couldn't leave the room, I couldn't leave the bathroom, I couldn't leave the hotel. It was very debilitating the day that that happened, and I just cried my eyes out. I was like, what is going on? Why is my body doing this to me? Why is this happening to me? And I came home and I thought, maybe it's a one-off, maybe it's just one really bad period. But then I had flooding again in January. February was okay. March I flooded, April I flooded. That's only like one day of the period, and it's only for a few hours. And it happened in one of my previous vlogs. I explained to you guys that I was having a really crazy period that day. That day I was flooding. And it's really intense when it happens, and you feel really drained and you feel like you can't leave the bathroom and you just feel completely debilitated. And I thought to myself, well, I spoke to Ant and I was crying to him about it. I was like, my period is just really impacting my life now. I feel like I can't leave the house and I'm on my heavy days. I feel like I can't make plans on the days that are the first few days of my period. A big part of my job is traveling, leading group hiking trips. And I feel like I'm scared to book things for when I'm expecting my period because I'm so debilitated by this excessively heavy periods, and I need to find a solution. And I was just crying and crying, and Ant was like, you need to get this sorted. This is impacting your life. Let's go find some treatment for this. And I was like, I've tried to find treatment before, nothing worked out, but you know what? I'm just gonna try again because this needs to stop. So then I went to my local GP in the village that we live in now, in Surrey. And it's a lovely, lovely clinic, a lovely NHS clinic, but they're very busy and they have a lot of people on their books. So when I went in and I said, hey, I'm looking to book an appointment to talk about my hormones and potentially some forms of contraception or some treatment for some hormonal issues I'm having, they said, we don't have capacity right now. We can only bring in patients who have emergency or urgent conditions. So we can't have you at the moment. maybe you should go elsewhere. That was quite disheartening for me, but obviously I respect the NHS is very busy. So I then had a conversation with Ant, and he said, you should use my insurance. You're on my insurance through my work, my corporate health insurance. You should be able to hopefully get private treatment on my insurance. I said, let's give it a go. So I went to a place in Surrey called the Surrey Park Clinic, which, as you might guess, it's in Surrey, it's in Guildford. And I went there for a consultation just to be transparent about financials. The insurance covered my consultation, but it has not covered my treatment, because basically some forms of insurance, they don't cover the cost of contraceptives, even if contraceptives are used as a treatment for a medical issue and they're not used purely as a contraceptive. If it has contraceptive side effects, Ant's insurance won't cover me. So I basically had to pay for the insertion of the coil and the coil itself, but my consultation was covered by the insurance. So yes, I went to this clinic in Surrey, I met the doctor. I said to her, this is my situation with my menorrhagia. She said, there's a whole variety of treatments. There's some really intense ones that we have where basically they can like blast the lining of your womb, which completely stops your periods, but then it takes away your ability to have children, it damages your infertility. And I said, I don't want to rule that out completely, you never know, so let's not do that, let's look at the other options. The three main options that he then explained to me, which were less intense, were either a form of the pill, the Mirena Coil, or tranexamic acid. Let me just put out here that before she offered me treatment options, we did a whole roster of tests. We've done hormonal tests, we've done internal examinations, we've done blood tests, we've done a whole range of different tests. Again, all came back looking normal. There is no clear reason why my periods are so heavy. And she obviously asked me about my lifestyle, and she said that my lifestyle feels very healthy and balanced as well. So she can't really pinpoint something which would be causing this. And you know what? I've just accepted that I don't know why this is happening to me. Anyway, so she said, these are your three forms of treatment that I suggest for you. As I said, pill, coil, tranexamic acid. I told her about my previous experience with the pill, and she said, yeah, you probably shouldn't have that. When I looked inside you, you did still have your cervical ectropion. Let's keep you away from the pill. Then she said about tranexamic acid, which is a bit high maintenance. She basically said, I think it is that you have to have the pill, you have to take this tranexamic acid pill 3 times a day, every day when you're on your period. It's a bit high maintenance. It's not really an easy long-term solution. So she kind of said she didn't recommend that for me. She said I should try the Mirena Coil again. I explained to her that last time when I had it, I was bleeding on and off and I don't think it worked for me. And she said, honey, that's normal. It can take a while for the coil to settle into your body. I really think this could be the solution for you. She said that for the vast majority of people who have the Mirena Coil, their periods either A, completely disappear, or they get much lighter and easier to cope with. I think it's only 10% of people who have the Mirena Coil have periods which are the same or are just more difficult or irregular. So I'm really hoping that I'm in the 90% where it's a little bit better. I mean, I like my odds, so fingers crossed. So yes, she said you should have the Mirena Coil. So we ordered the Mirena Coil, and I went in yesterday to get the Mirena Coil fitted. In terms of the fitting process, so I had the Mirena Coil fitted, as I said, like 7 years ago when I first met Ant. When I had it done back then, I had it done on the NHS. They didn't offer me any pain relief, which I didn't even realise was an option, and I actually didn't feel any pain. I felt like a sharp pull or something internal when they put it in. I didn't feel any pain when they put it in. It was like a snapshot of pain. Does that make sense? I can't say I didn't feel any pain, but I felt very, very, very minimal pain. I didn't think of it as traumatic. I just thought of it as like, I don't know, just a little bit of discomfort to get the coil put in. So when I had no pain relief back 7 years ago, it was fine. But when I went in this time, she said to me that there is the option to have a local anaesthetic. So when I went in yesterday, let's just talk about the whole coil insertion process. I had local anaesthetic. So basically the process is they get the, what's it called? I need to Google it. What's the name of that thing that they use to like open you up? What do I Google? Vaginal examination tool. Speculum. Speculum. So they got the speculum, they put that in, they opened me up, and then she got this local anaesthetic yesterday injected that into my cervix. Now that was probably the most painful part of the experience. It was kind of like a sharp scratch on my cervix, but then as soon as that kicked in, everything went numb, and all I felt was kind of like internal rummaging and pulling while she was doing her business, and then it was all over within 2 minutes. So it was definitely not a very uncomfortable process. It was like one moment of sharp scratch and then like internal weird feelings, and then it was done. I think because I went privately, she did some extra checks. So she then did an internal ultrasound with a probe, checked the location of where it was, showed me where it was within me, etc, etc, and then boom, I came home. In terms of what's happened since then, I have had some light cramping yesterday. I probably had cramping for 2 hours, and then I haven't had any cramping since then. Obviously that could come back, but so far so good. 2 hours of light cramping, I mean, I'll take that. And then I've been light bleeding / spotting on and off since the insertion, but very light, as I said, kind of more like spotting. You're not supposed to put tampons in for, I think, the first month after you get your Mirena Coil fitted, so I am just using period pads at the moment to deal with the spotting / bleeding. So yeah, early days, but so far so good. The coil is in, and I feel amazing thinking that this is hopefully a positive step towards less hellish periods. And I will definitely keep you guys updated with my progress with the coil over the course of the next 3, 6, 12 months. I'll just let you know how I get on. This can be effective for up to 5 years. And one of the benefits of the Mirena Coil is that if I did ever want to get pregnant, I can literally just take the coil out, obviously with a doctor, by a doctor, and I can be pregnant within a month or 2 months. It's very quick that it like gets out of your system. So I know that there's a lot of negative stories about coils and, to be honest, any form of hormonal contraception online, but I just want to put it out there and hopefully share a positive story and a positive experience so far, because yeah, people have been in my inbox since I mentioned getting the coil, telling me all of their horror stories, you know, and I just want to say to you guys, please, when you watch this video, before you go down in the comments down below, please do not leave comments telling me about your horror stories or the negatives or the terrible things the Mirena Coil are going to do to me. Please don't do that, because this is the first time in a really long time where I'm feeling, I don't want to cry, where I'm feeling really positive and I'm feeling really excited that I might not have to deal with these crazy periods for the rest of my life. I feel like I just really need you guys to be happy for me, please, and to avoid telling me about scary contraception stories or coil stories. I right now feel really excited, and I feel really positive about the prospect of my periods being less hellish, and I need pull yourself together, Zanna. Pull yourself together. Give me 1 minute. Okay, I'm back. I don't know if I'm getting my words out correctly, but basically, please, just be positive in the comments, guys. Just be happy for me. Just share good stories about coils, because right now I'm feeling really hopeful about how this is hopefully going to work out for me, because I can't live the rest of my life with the periods that I've been having for the past 6 years. I can't do that forever. I need to take back control. I need to take back my power. I need to advocate for getting treatment which will hopefully make my quality of life better and mean that I'm not debilitated by my period. And I just want to use this video to say a few things. The main one is, don't put up with awful periods. I have put up with this for far too long, and I'm really annoyed at myself for doing that. But ultimately, it's not normal to live your life based on your cycle. It's not normal to feel debilitated by your period, and you deserve to not have to live your life based on your period. You deserve to have freedom and to be free from discomfort and pain and excessive bleeding and all of that stuff that so many of us women go through. You don't have to put up with that. So please advocate for yourself. Go to your GP, go to a doctor, go to a specialist, go to somebody and ask for help, because yeah, you don't have to live your life based on your cycle. You can be free from that, and I'm really hoping that this is my personal first step towards being free from my crazy periods. The second thing I want to say is, you're not alone. There's so many women who deal with similar struggles to me, similar struggles to you. I know a lot of women don't necessarily have heavy periods, but lots of women cope with crazy cramping and pain during their periods. These things are not normal, but also they're not uncommon. So please don't think that you're alone. So many of us, women or menstruating humans, we have issues, we have pains, we have troubles. You are not alone. Please reach out to somebody. If you feel like you're having any challenges, please go and talk to somebody, and please go and advocate for yourself and request treatment and support. And the third thing is, I will keep sharing my journey. I will keep sharing my journey going forward with this coil. I'm really hoping that this works out for the best. So I will definitely share my journey going forward. So far, so good. I'm feeling really excited, and I'm feeling really positive for the future. And I'm just hoping that, yeah, this is gonna be a good thing. Okay, big, long, emotional ramble over. Really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit thumbs up, please leave a comment down below, and I would love for you to subscribe. I will continue to share my journey with my hormones, with my coil, with my menorrhagia, and I will see you soon. Have a great day. Lots of love.